Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Friday, 6 o'clock Pacific time, and I just got to say is damn, I love this game. This strategy is just on point. So I had, just to show everyone, I had these X'd out, and this, down here's the explanation of why. This is just my opinion of, don't play the highest open interest strikes, and if you do not want my opinion or care about it, come up to the scorecard, and that will tell you factual, just statistical data on the results. So let's go to I've never put up this secondary range. It was the first time ever, just because there was so much headline news or headline risk and European news out every single day, and Apple was down in this range. So here would be your secondary range. Anyways, always go off of for this theory is the highest open interest is you're always going to use. Let me go to just to start you off real quick to show in the prior leading the 400 open interest just became your highest open interest this week, because nowadays, and this is a learning process going with everybody, with weeklies, they're getting so popular, just more and more every week, that's where all the volume takes place, and it isn't until the monthly becomes a weekly that these strikes change. So this is just on my YouTube thing, the March to 400. So this was in August 26th. This was up. So here's what the September 16th range looked like. Yeah, your 430 was your highest open interest, and your 400, and then 395 right behind it, pretty close. And then here's another on the 9.9. It didn't look too much. You had the calls, and see, here's what I was talking about too. Is this is because of all your weekly options. This is going to grow and grow and grow because the weeklies are going to stall and stall and stall Apple. And as you can see here, look how that moves up, and then all of a sudden, let's come to. Here's a different look at it. So your 430s came down, and then look what happened to your 400s because the weeklies stalled and stalled and let this build up now, and so it became your highest open interest. And then here we lie this week, and then so what I'm getting at is this week changed the strikes. So we're sitting at 400 for our highest open interest on the calls, and then 395 is your highest open interest on the puts. But I want to play this little clip right here. Hopefully you can hear it. Start off with is like I said, I've just been kind of leery of this just because all this news is out. But seeing this today, this is gonna look like kind of that last July run. I think these are gonna actually come true where it is going to come right back up into this range, and it can go as high as, this 430, 435 area, and then the floor in Apple, just the lowest point is going to be your 400. So we'll keep an eye on. Okay, so that was back in August 26th, and remember, these are always the highest it can go. I'm not saying it will go, and this is the lowest that it will be. Just quick side note, whenever you see them about even, you're going to always want to use this. So, like, if you see, well, he says sell the high or use the highest open interest strike, go ahead just for safety. You act like this one's your highest open interest, and then if you want to go one more off, like I would, you would come back down here. Switching back, this is last week's video. Let me just play a little clip. I think Apple is just going to keep heading higher because on the manipulation side of Max Payne, they're going to want Apple to expire over here. On the market mechanism side of it, when these start closing down, you have 35,000 open interest of them each, it's going to pull Apple up. It's going to start pulling it up. So I think bearing that these stay the same at these same strikes, it's going to come up towards this way. So just higher, we'll say, is the move. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about when the options market will show you the future. It really, really will. So this was the same in the, excuse me, you had your Steve Jobs news come out, and Apple was down here at 350. And this is when it looked like, no way in hell is it getting up here. And you may have had a lot of people sell their covered calls way down here at 370 or 375 or something, be like, man, I would love to get out at that price. In these, even in, look at me even, I had these ranges up for a while, and then I took them back off just because I didn't even believe it myself. But these are up here for a reason, and it comes true every single time, and I get fooled just, as much as anyone else. Like, no way, but it works. There's a reason because of how the market works. It pulls Apple up like this, or it's in commercial money's best interest for it to expire over here. Now let's get back to today. What happened? And so you can't say that this isn't, what is keeping it from 400? Just all day, just bouncing off 400. What is our highest open interest? 400. Bouncing off of it. I mean, come on. They go hand in hand. If this was never here, if options were never here, it would have been way higher. Because remember the last couple days too, when the market was up like a percent and a half, and Apple was like, up 0.25%. I mean, this messes with Apple. So in any time, how I started in this or wanted to educate people on, not so much on the trading side, but just don't be scared if like, oh man, Apple stalled at 400. It's not going to work. It's because of options. And two, why you had Apple get so much strength, I think too. This is kind of a part where the max pain theory is kind of a good thing for Apple longs, because if this wasn't this high, if these were down here, oh shoot, good luck. We would have been down. We would have stayed at that 350 level. So this is kind of a good thing that got us up here, I believe. Another quick thing I've been noticing, just because, like I said, this is all a learning process because weeklies are getting so much more popular, but I've been noticing, and I don't have any evidence besides the last couple weeks, but 100,000 contracts in a day, that's just never happened before. This is all the first time. When you start to I've noticed once you go 2 times on a Friday on OPEX, when you go 2 times the open interest, so here's your open interest on the 400 calls are at 30K. And so when you hit about 60K on your volume, these pretty much came down enough where there isn't enough money on the line or enough people close them out, where commercial money, it's fine if it goes over. And so once you get 2 times volume or so, it's kind of free to run at that point. That's just what I've been observing. In 100,000, it was kind of when it started to get up in that area. And by no means did Apple just explode off of 400, but just in general, kind of keep a watch on Fridays. When you see a 2 times plus of open interest or a volume start to build, you might, and say you're short this strike and you start to see that volume build, you might want to get out of that position, because the more volume that is going to trade on that strike equals more than likely these are closing down, so there's no more money on the line here. So Apple is free to go much higher. So just kind of keep a watch out for that. Normally I like to keep to data, actual real results instead of just my opinion, but keep an eye on that and watch that. Other than that, just crazy how it really does work. I mean, this isn't a joke, and it will tell you the future. It will tell you the